And also background reading,
Yes.
and yes, depending on their own worldview, they will think about something.
Exactly. So let me just ask you further that is it going to affect, because there have been a lot of talks related to India, Middle East and European corridor also, that recently when we talked about it in G20, and after this this war broke, and the first news was that it is going to affect that corridor project. So do you think?
Okay, briefly, that corridor project was announced on the sidelines of the G20, 9th September, in the presence of Mr. Biden, who has, at least on 3 occasions, said very positive things about IMF, even now, that it won't affect. Then you have the UAE, then you have Saudi Arabia, then the president of the EU was there, Ursula. She supported it. Italy Prime Minister Meloni was there, sharp lady, supported it. And who was therefore practically everybody supported. So it is project which from Western India coast could be one or the other, 3 ports, doesn't matter. Goes to Al Jabali, Saudi Arabia. Then there is a train, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and from Jordan, I have put it, the network I have put on the slides. There is a peace train, which Israel is funding, to Haifa. From Haifa to Piraeus, port in Greece, that has been decided. Now imagine who owns that port? Chinese. Who owns Haifa port? The Port Authority, India and China. There is no conflict. Okay. Now, is it in the interest of all these parties? The manner in which they have been saying that we will set up nodes, and Crown Prince of UAE on 8th September announced that they will put up a $50 billion refinery. That will be in India. And I'll just come in a moment, remind me that what is the amount of petroleum products India sells to Israel? Last 2-3 years, what has happened? So, in other words, and everybody is financing the peace which is within their territories. Okay. India is putting up a very large sum for rail connections to come to the ports from internal locations, and everything moves on the container. Okay. Now, having said this, is Israel going to be against it? Absolutely not. They want Haifa port to really bloom and give competition to Rotterdam. Okay. They need oil because they don't have oil. They need a port. They are highly trade-oriented country. Okay, for themselves, right? Then here, these guys are all getting access to Europe via the Mediterranean Sea in a shorter period of time, so beneficial. So this is the logic. Hardly anybody has actually appreciated this project in India. Those who write, they say it's not workable. It's not workable. Now we come back to, in business context and geopolitical context, what are the probabilities of something? Which are stable countries, which are unstable countries, and so on and so forth. Israel is Israel. Patake to chalte rehte. Nothing new. If you look at the layout of the train, peace train, it goes outside the Gaza Strip as well as the West Bank, right? And then touches Jordan, where Palestinians are not in majority. And this is the matter of God is in details, right? And of course, Jordan is very keen that this passes through them. There will be business, the passing rights, whatever. There will be stations, whatnot. UAE and this thing are both are very keen, right? That they will get a port, 2 ports actually, which are in the hands of Asians, And they're not in the hand of Europeans that way.
Hmm.
India is happy. We have control. In Israel, for Israel, from $2 billion about 5-6 years ago, our trade now is $8 to $9 billion. Out of that, $5 to $6 billion is petroleum products. Okay. Now, would the Palestinians disturb this? Let us say petroleum product trade.
Hmm.
No. Probability is near zero because they will not get fuel, first of all, if there is any shararas. Why would Israel do it? Food, everything has to be imported for them, na?
So they won't do it.
Therefore, before that, all that Qatar and UAE and Saudi Arabia and India are trying to do is कि भाई अगर नहीं मानते आप सीजफायर कम से कम हम इनको रोटी खाने दे मेरे को जाने दो ठीक है ना so what is US doing it's also saying humanitarian corridor
Humanitarian
but you use intermittent जब जरूरत है type you know SOS but the regular diplomatic term they use for humanitarian causes or something like that no it is humanitarian pauses for humanitarian causes So these will be pause. That means 3 दिन के लिए firing नहीं है. But Palestinians won't disturb it. Egyptians won't disturb it. Jordanians won't disturb it. In other words, I'm not going into too much detail. This project is success. Its parameters have improved.
Okay. So that way, India will be benefited. Or
not India, you can say whole corridor.
Whole corridor will be benefited.
Whole corridor will be benefited if there was any resistance. It will go away now. Because this becomes the only lifeline then.
Okay. So
because on this lifeline, we will be able to supply to the Gaza Strip also, no?
Right.
And West Bank. Because just passing through that, kind of. But in Israel. That issue is, by the way, there. Two-nation thing and all that. How
we will talk about those two-nation support of two-nation theory or whether it is a fight for land or fight for existence. But in our next episode, we'll continue with this in our next episode. So far, we can just summarize it in the sense that, yes, somewhere down the line, the Palestinians were not given a chance to develop. They were not educated. They have been debarred from their rights, and that's the reason they were against the Jewish known for their scientific disposition throughout the since ages and all. They have developed, they hold the majority of the land there, and that is the one basic seed of conflict which is going on since ages between Israel and Palestine. As far as the war is concerned, there are different views by different nations. And the EMEC corridor or project, I would say, is not going to be affected by this war.
Not affected negatively.
And negatively, and the whole country, all the countries involved are going to be benefited, including Israel and Palestine nation also.
Can I just say something which is very recent and it will become stale afterwards? That which are the countries which have supported and all that. So, what happened in the Security Council is all well known. Nothing passed, therefore they don't exist. Only thing which exists is the UNGA resolution. 120 countries supported it and 40 odd abstented and 14 negative votes. USA and Israel was major one, Austria, then Hungary, in Europe, and then all island states are there. But the whole process of dynamics was such that the Europe plus the NATO nations did not come forward to say that there should be ceasefire. Did not agree to it. Very unfortunate. Because they talk about international order and all that. You can keep on criticizing that those guys went there one day and did whatever, and catch hold of them, do whatever you wish. But there is no right of the state It is not a barbaric state. It is a democratic state. It is a modern state. It's a civilized state of civilized people. To say that we will go and kill so many people. And 10,000 is already over. Okay, now, therefore, what has been the reaction? Arab states, negative reaction, all wanting ceasefire. Nothing like that by EU. They have a new terminology saying Israel has the right of defense. Now, the defense includes killing children and all that. I don't know how it can be justified. I mean, they're all civilized people. They have to figure out a way to go and ferret out those fellows who have committed these crimes, right? And do whatever you want. Hopefully, that also through a legal process. But that doesn't mean that I'll just throw bomb on this hospital and bomb on this hospital. No. So, therefore, there has been a lot of reaction, including by Jews abroad, to say that this is not done. And then Israel must stop doing it. Now, already 10,000 lives are gone. Normally, there is a figure of 2 to 3 wounded. Now, who is going to take care of the wounded? Hospitals are not there. People can't imagine that somebody is bleeding from the leg chopped off, and nobody look after. Okay. Now, then I think the next stage has come that a number of them have started stopping their diplomatic relations. Turkey, Jordan. Jordan is very important. Turkey is very important. Because Turkey wants to give the impression of they represent the Islams. So does Saudi Arabia, so does Iran. This is their main interstate issue. South Africa, Chad, Libya, Bolivia. After that, Bolivia, all socialist type of countries in the Latin America, Cuba, Argentina, Nicaragua, Brazil, and then Ireland. Ireland is saying that what those guys have done is bad, right? But what these guys are doing now, shouldn't say Israelis, Israel state is uncivilized. Okay, now, therefore, this movement has started again, which was there in the previous war of BDS. We'll talk about it next time.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in the next.
And in the land or existential battle, personally, I think it is existential battle for both the parties. At least they presume it to be so. They mar jayenge agar hum don't do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.